We're here at Card Party, and welcome to another Pokemon What If Wednesday.
So I got to start off by thanking Pat for doing that intro and for inviting me to Card Party to be a featured creator. It was the most fun I've ever had at a card show, and I just want to thank everybody who came up to me and asked for pictures or autographs. It seriously meant a ton. And two, I am also going to the Seattle Card Party, so definitely do not miss out on that. I promise you'll not be disappointed. And if you guys like that little intro surprise, make sure you check out my last Market Monday. We had another little surprise just like that. And we do have one more for today's video, but first we do have to give thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Collectr. This app is the best of the best when it comes to tracking your current collection. They have over 25 different TCGs with 1.5 million products tracked. They're always trying to improve and add stuff. So if there's anything that you can think of that they can work on or add, please let us know down below in the comments and they'll get working on that ASAP. They also do the most giveaways that I have ever seen, so make sure you follow them on all their socials, and I'll have all the links in the description. All right, first question, and this is actually going to be my shortest What If Wednesday. It is literally Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m. I just got home from Florida, and I got to edit this video and get it out by midnight. So we're only going to do maybe 10 questions. So make sure you guys drop your questions down below for a chance to be in next week's video. And I apologize if I missed anybody that did the repeat question. But all right, first question is from @YouMayZin, and we have a special guest that is going to help answer this first question. Is the Scarlet and Violet era the best era of the Pokemon TCG?
It's a very interesting question. You know, it's very contentious. A lot of people say it's Sword and Shield. A lot of people say that it's Scarlet and Violet. Maybe it's recency bias, but I really do think Scarlet and Violet is probably the highest contender of probably the best era of all time. Now, the reason I say this is not only are the pull rates really, really well, maybe excluding a few sets like, you know, Shattered Fable or Prismatic Evolutions, even with those things, it is significantly better than like earlier sets in Sword and Shield. So with that all together, I really do think, my personal opinion, although I really like Sun and Moon, I really love Sun and Moon, Cosmic Eclipse, Shining Legends, fantastic sets, and that's when I started really collecting, including X and Y. Although I really like those eras, putting that off to the side, I will say Scarlet and Violet has everything for everyone.
I agree 100%, especially if you look at the early Sword and Shield sets. They are so rough. And almost every set, I mean, the worst set in Scarlet and Violet era is a very, very good set. It's just tough to beat the illustration rares. So, yeah, I appreciate Roxanne for answering the very first question, man. Thank you. For sure. You've been amazing.
I want to thank Roxanne for doing that. He is such a nice dude. Definitely go check out his channel. And to keep going a little bit on this topic now that I'm home with my laptop and I can kind of show you guys better, the only spot where I feel like the Scarlet and Violet era is weak is in the special illustration and rare spot, like their top chase cards. And I feel like the reason why that happened is because they gave so many Gen 9 SIRs and they gave so many popular Pokemon just illustration rares. I was not a fan of them giving, you know, Gen 9 Pokemon 2 different special illustration rares. I felt like that was a little bit overkill. So that's where I feel like the Scarlet and Violet era is kind of weak compared to the Sword and Shield era, which, I mean, these top alternate arts are just crazy. Not to mention Rayquaza, Gengar, Giratina, Lugia, Charizard, Dragonite, all the evolutions, Blaziken, and then even the Sun and Moon era. They have the most expensive trainers we've ever gotten. Lily's $500. We got the tag team alternate arts, and then we even have the tag team rainbows. So a really good variety there. But like I said, when you're looking at the entire era as a whole, the beginning of Sword and Shield is so rough, and the beginning of the Sun and Moon is even worse. Sun and Moon has really rough pull rates, and there's just so many rough sets to where, in my opinion, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 solid sets in the entire era. The rest are, you know, definitely average or below average. But these are definitely the top 3 eras for sure. You know, Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, and Sun and Moon. I'd probably put Sun and Moon at 3rd, and then Sword and Shield probably at 2nd. It could go back and forth, honestly, between 2nd and 1st, because for some people, they only care about those top chase cards, which the Scarlet and Violet era is still pretty new, obviously, to where some of these cards could go even crazier in the future. You never know. Then we'll run through the rest of the eras. I would definitely put X, Y in 4th. Black and White, I'm honestly not like super obsessed about the Black and White era. I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver, even though it's very small, is slightly better than the Black and White era. I feel like it has a lot better variety. I also like Heart Gold, Soul Silver more than Diamond and Pearl. Now, the EX, Ruby, and Sapphire era, definitely probably the best vintage era if I had to say. Now, these have all the gold stars. Now we can go down to the E-card series, which has, the crystal cards and stuff like that. Again, though, barely any sets, and there isn't very many crystal cards. The holos are absolutely beautiful. And then the Neo Genesis series is better than the base set series. I know that's tough to say, but you got to be realistic. Even like Neo Genesis, which is like their kind of base set, you're getting 2 holos of each of like the starters. That'd be like having 2 Charizard holos in base set with 2 different arts and Blastoise and Venusaur, which is crazy. Not to mention they have unlimited and first edition shiny cards, so that definitely beats base set. But I'm always going to be, a base set fan for sure because I like the history of Pokemon, so I love, like the first of stuff. That's why I collect so many first appearance comic books and stuff like that because it's history. Without these cards, we might not have any of this. So that's why I love the base set series. But the Neo series is definitely a better series, and I almost like Neo more than the E-card series, to be honest. It's close, but I'm just a really big Neo fan. And then the EX Ruby and Sapphire, like I said, lots of sets, lots of different things going on. Big fan of that. But Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, and then the Black and White are probably the 3 weakest, in my opinion. I should have just did a tier list in the beginning. I don't know why I didn't think about that until after I did all this, but yeah, so that is kind of ranking all of the different eras. Let me know down below what you guys think. I know a lot of people think the Sword and Shield era is the best, which I totally understand. I mean, looking at those top cards, it's really, really tough to beat. But, like I said, the opening experience was so rough in the Sword and Shield era, except for Crown Zenith, and Celebrations was super fun also. And Sun and Moon, I don't even want to open up anything from Sun and Moon unless it's like Hidden Fates. But the next one is from GM Adventure 997. What is going on with the Hoopa XY Japanese promo? I picked one up months ago in a PSA 9 after seeing you talk about it for $99. It's now $400. It's a super cool card. I'm absolutely happy that I got this. I love these exclusive cards that we do not get in English. I mean, just look at these Pokemon on here. We literally got a Lugia just chilling in the background, Mega Rayquaza. It's just a crazy, crazy card. But there's some Mega Pokemon on here, so it's definitely one of the reasons why it's going up in price. PSA 10 was $144. Now last sold on here is $550, and it's probably just going to keep going up. Next is from a member at Rob Ward 9339. Hey PokeBeard, thanks for all you do for the hobby. I just picked up a really clean copy of the 2002 McDonald's Umbreon promo. Do you think this card has a good chance to increase in value in the future? What would you say is your favorite Pokemon promo? I have a ton of favorite promos, but the one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head is probably the Dragonite Game Boy promo. That is one of my all-time favorite promos. But I'm a big fan of this McDonald's Umbreon. If you guys have never heard of this card and you guys are just listening, definitely pull out your phone and check out this card. It is sick. Umbreon just getting sleepy, laying on top of a building. But it is getting pretty expensive. We got a PSA 10 that sold for $1,126. But we got a raw near mint one at $171. As long as you're getting a really clean copy, I think this card has some very solid potential, especially everybody loves Umbreon now. Next is from @JellyPete2338. Do you think the Greninja Kingdra promos can pop off as they reach the 1-year mark, especially if they stay English exclusive? It all depends on reprints. We could get massive reprints of both of those boxes and the promos would come crashing down in price for sure, so you gotta be careful. Next is from @BenOltman3474. Should I buy a Burning Shadows booster box for $680? Looks like the charts have not been updated, but the last sold was $900. Appreciate the wisdom and videos. Peace. Yeah, if you can find a super clean Burning Shadows booster box for a solid price, I think it's a solid pickup. Like I said, Burning Shadows isn't the best set, but it does have a very, very nice Charizard in it, which, I mean, look at Obsidian Flames. It's going crazy. Not a very good set, but it's a Charizard set. Next is from @Turtnuts. Hey, Beard, do you think that the Chinese Gem Pack Volume 2 is a good hold for investment at the moment? Seen a drop in price a good amount and wondering if it is a good buy opportunity. Thanks always for your hard work. I think it's pretty solid. It, of course, also depends on reprints. Especially with the Chinese market, we don't know what they're going to reprint and how much they're going to reprint any of these. But I do know they are trying to catch up, so I feel like there's a solid chance that they're not going to just sit and reprint everything like crazy, but you never know. I could be completely wrong on that. But as long as you're getting it for a good deal, I think it's solid. I'm definitely going to pick some up too. You can't go wrong when we're talking exclusives and we're talking evolutions and like Pikachus and stuff. So I'm a fan. Next is from @XBeastMode117X. Would you trade a copy of the Rockets Mewtwo SIR for the Shining Legends Mewtwo card? Yes, immediately. I would definitely do that. They're roughly the same price, and I love the art on the Mewtwo a lot more, but I feel like the potential of the SIR is much higher because of the current era. What do you think of this trade, Beard? But yeah, like I said, definitely do that. That Mewtwo card is so much more rare than the SIR, and we're going to have Destined Rivals for the next few years. So there's a good chance that card will come down in price pretty heavily to where we're not going to get a bunch more Mewtwo's. Next is from @PokeMedi, Yo PokeBeard, with the announcement of Lucario being the poster child of the new upcoming set Mega Brave. Do you think the most recent Lucario cards, like the Lucario V-Star promo from Crown Zenith, will go up especially in a PSA 10? Love listening to your videos at work. So the Crown Zenith ETB is moving up in price, so the Lucario should follow anyways a little bit. But if we do get some crazy Lucario card and we get a bunch of Lucario love, I think that could make the card move a little bit more. In my opinion, we really haven't gotten a super good Lucario card. Some people like the Crown Zenith promo. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't hate it. But when you compare that Lucario promo to the rest of Crown Zenith, it's definitely one of the weakest arts in the set. So I'm hoping for a super sick Lucario card. And if you guys did not notice in the new reveals that we got where it showed the Bulbasaur, there's another vine in there to where we might have like connecting artwork of like a Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, and a Mega Venusaur all connecting artwork, which would be absolutely crazy. I know that has nothing to do with Lucario. I just had to mention that. And next question is from @Gather Form Magic. What do you think about the future of Shining Fates? So I think it's just going to be super slow movers along with like Vivid Voltage and stuff. But I mean, they're getting older, so they're going to go up in price. It's just going to be very slowly. Next is from @Cholzer22. What are your thoughts on the SVP Blackstar promo 174 Eevee? I have one of the few PSA 10 copies at this time. Should I sell while it's high or hold to see what the market does as more pop comes out? Thanks and love the content. My son and I watch all the videos. To be honest, you could probably sell it now if you wanted to. You're going to have a pretty good chance of being able to pick one up later. The only way that wouldn't happen is if we just didn't get any more reprints of the SPC, which I feel like is pretty unlikely, especially after seeing all the reprints we got of like the Charizard UPC and the 151 UPC. So I feel like you could probably sell it now and find it cheaper later. Next is from @Taylor G. Waltney 6681. Which PSA 10 non-evolution from Terrestrial Vessel would you recommend for long-term investment? So I don't think Japanese PSA 10s are the best investment. There's a small chance it'll go up. I think, investing into seals is much smarter. But if I had to choose one, probably like the Roaring Moon, because it's done by the same artist who did the Magikarp and the Giratina. And last on the list is from @Robert Z 1991. Will the how-to series only be on the weekends? Thanks. So how-to will either happen on a Saturday or a Tuesday. I'm definitely behind right now. I have so many videos that I have to edit. So I'm going to say probably 2 weeks from now, maybe on a Tuesday or Saturday. And I think my next how-to is going to be how to sell. And then after that, I think I'm going to do how to grade. And it's not going to be your typical how to submit your cards to PSA because everyone has that video. I'm going to be talking about like how to find the best cards, which cards you should be grading and stuff like that. And again, I apologize for the shorter What If Wednesday. I normally do at least 20 to 25 questions. I think this was like 10 or 12 questions, but my next What If Wednesday will be extra long. And like I said, if you guys did not watch my last Market Monday, definitely go watch it, at least for the intro. It's pretty sweet. And then too, if you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram, my TikTok, or my YouTube membership is only 99 cents a month. All right, I want you guys to have a great day. We'll see you next time.